Experiences and Views Survey Report is hereby launched.
We'll bring you details of that, but let's look at what else is contained in this report that ranks the Ghana Police Service as the most corrupt institution in Ghana. So the scope of bribery, it's bribery and corruption, give and take. So 26.7% of the adult population were told paid a bribe to a public official in 2021. And they looked at urban areas, rural areas, and 26.7. So these are the regions. So look at that. The Western North region has 53.7% of adults who paid or were asked to pay a bribe in the 12 months preceding the service. So the last 12 months, they looked at the regions. Let me go to Greater Accra. Interesting, Greater Accra, about 30.2% of the people said they had paid some form of bribe in the last 12 months. Ahafo says 47.0%, Northeast 41.0%. Bono, let me go to the northern region here. OT, let's look at OT. OT, 27.1%. Volta, Ashanti, so the lowest is Bono East, 11.8%, 14.5%, that's the Savannah. Volta, 19.1%, 20.1% in Ashanti. I'm surprised at the Greater Accra figure here, which says 30.7%, but Western North, 53.4%. And a lot of the officers they engage are police officers. They are always interacting with the public, and that's why they mostly top. And 6 out of 10 bribes. How the bribe works, this is the structure of it. So 6 out of the 10 bribes paid to public officials are requested directly by those. In other words, either they stop you and say, Master, with the drivers, drivers and the police, there's no talking. As soon as they stop, you just stretch your hand and you give them 5 cedis, 10 cedis. I don't know these days what the minimum is, whether it's 20 cedis. But they will slap you if you give them 1 Ghana cedi. So they don't want to see the red nose. So 5 Ghana cedis may be minimum. But that's what is happening. It's terrible, but it's happening. And the direct request is 59.4%. In other words, more than 50% of officers are asking bribe directly. Give me money or else courts. 84.8%. 9 out of bribes are paid in the form of cash. Wow. 9 out of 10 bribes are paid in the form of cash. And a total of about 5 billion, I think we should put this on the screen, 5 billion cedis was paid in cash bribes to public officials in 2021. 5 billion cedis was paid to public officials in the form of bribe, cash. Well, look at the male-female population, and the share of male public officials who solicit or take bribe when interacting with their citizens is roughly twice, that's of female public officials. So male are more likely to take bribes than women. Women are shy, so they don't do direct. If you even beg them, they might not take it, right? And 2.6% of women were asked for sexual favors, a terrible one here, sexual favors when interacting with public officials. So either for jobs, for promotion, for opportunities, women are always asked to give something their body. And it's interesting that this survey is bringing it out to stem it out. 4 out of 10 successful candidates for posts in the public sector admitted using either nepotism, bribery, or both to improve their chances of recruitment. 4 out of 10 successful candidates for posts in the public sector admitted using either nepotism, bribery, or both to improve their chances. In other words, you may be qualified for it, but if you don't pay, you will not get the opportunity. And 1 out of 10 citizens say they were also offered a bribe in the last 10 months. So like I said, we'll be breaking it down. This is News Night. We don't have a lot of time to tell you everything, but we will break it down in our subsequent bulletins. But let's see. So these are the officials who were named in the survey. So who are they? Ghana Immigration Service, GRA, Lands Commission, DVLA, Passport Agency, prosecutors, judges, and magistrates. Remember, they were caught taking goats in that Anas Arimio, Anas undercover reports. Judges, magistrates, prosecutors are all here. National Road Safety Authority, prison officials, MMDAs, ministries, people paid to have their contracts approved. GRA, Ghana members of the armed forces, embassy, public officials, public utility officials, embassy and or consulate, teachers, doctors, executive branch of government, elected and social security elected, and all of these people, and Ghana police managed to beat all of them and take the #1 position. Okay, so that's just about it. Like I said, we'll definitely be giving you more. But this is just to give you an idea of exactly what is happening in this country. And we'll go on Zoom and speak to Edem Senanu. Edem Senanu is the Director of Citizen Movement Against Corruption. Very good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, are you surprised that Ghana police topped? And also the names that you saw here with judges, immigration, GRA, is any of the names that surprise you? I mean, the consulate here did surprise me, though.
Well, not surprising that we have different categories of groupings in this.
Right.
I think what hit me was the estimated 5 billion. I was like,
right.
Wow.
Right.
We know it's going on, we know it's bad, but this suddenly puts a figure to it and it hits you that really the country is bleeding.
Mm. And let's talk about the Ghana Police Service. They seem to be at top, at least in previous ones I have seen that. Is it because of the constant, regular interaction with the public? And why do they keep? Is it that the reports don't shame them enough? What can we do to shame them enough to leave the top?
I think it will be a combination of factors. Certainly because the police are out there, and I'm sure if they disaggregated the data, would find that perhaps the MTTU division of the police service is the one where you would have a lot of disengagement and issues going on, and perhaps also the police stations. But yes, obviously, because they're engaging people a lot more, and also because we have not robustly dealt with this in the past. You see, all the research shows that when you set good precedents, in other words, find people culpable, jail them, sanction them, collect their money, collect their properties, shame them, name them, gradually there's a sense that you can't get away with this. It's high risk, it's low gain. But to the extent that we've not done enough of that, I mean, all these high profile cases that have come up, very little action or traction, very little sanctioning or prosecution and jailing, people think they can get away with it.
So then what? Do we throw our hands in the air and, do nothing? Because you saw the figure, 5 billion cedis in a year.
I think that we need to be a lot more innovative in coming up with mechanisms and strategies. I would like to see a fast-track corruption court where issues that are brought up, people are sent and quickly. I mean, we need to understand that this is a big issue for us, and you want it quickly prosecuted, rather than it takes forever, joins the line of whatever cases are in court. I think that's important. I think it's also good that we're having a lot more investigation. I think we need a lot more investigative journalism going on, like the likes of Manasseh and Nas, and not just to the extent of the bulk figures, but naming and shaming specific persons. I mean, the more that begins to happen, then you're not sure whether somebody has walked into your office with a pen that is recording, or, public officers are going to be more cautious. So we need a lot more investigative journalism, recordings, and then making it high profile, letting the people go through the court processes, get them jailed, and working together, civil society, anti-graft agencies, media. If we push the game forward in terms of making sure that we are very incisive in identifying who is being corrupt and making sure that we face the full rigors of the law.
You sound hopeful, but we saw the video Anas brought out. Judges, magistrates, they were all in there. How do you expect fast track? Special prosecutor is struggling. And we have seen people who were in Anas's video, in fact, in Manasseh Azuri's video, both hands taking it and we're all cleared. How can you be so hopeful when all of this is happening with no action taken?
Well, it's unfortunate, but society seems to, sometimes you go downhill to get a point where everybody agrees that we have to do something. And you don't want to get to a point where it's like a revolution or something. but people.
Okay. Senator was just wrapping up about the corruption and how he is hopeful despite the daunting challenge that confronts persons who fight corruption. We know what happened with Daniel Domelovo.